Hello, hello, hello. Monday morning. Welcome to our high level program. We call it the 2-day workshop or the virtual workshop. Today, I have a very special guest. But before we get started, I am going to wait a little bit for people to kind of trickle in. We are currently live on YouTube. So if you are on YouTube, say hello, say what's up, tell me what city and state you're coming in from or checking in from. And then we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on X, and I believe we're on Twitch for all those young folks that are Twitch gamers. I'm testing out some Twitch today, so we'll see how that all works out. I see the number of people going up here. So welcome in. I want to see some engagement. Today we have a lot happening with this workshop. If you don't know who Joel Irway is, you're in for a treat. Joel is someone that I've respected for so long. Joel probably doesn't even know that I followed him for over like 10 years plus now. As he in the early days of when he used to do a lot of webinars and teach people how to do the mechanics of webinars. I remember learning from him back then. And years later, he's part of the High Level family. He's one of our top affiliates now and working with Kelsey and Austin and Josh and those guys, doing some phenomenal things. But as you are coming in and entering our 2-day workshop, there's a lot happening. But before we go any further, Joel, thanks for saying yes, man.
Well, I appreciate the invitation. It was I've been a huge supporter of High Level for a handful of years now, and when you reached out, it was an easy yes. So happy to happy to assist, and we got some really good content for everyone here today. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Joel, before we go any further, for those that don't know you, especially maybe like the international folks or folks that are not in the digital marketing world, because I see, some small business owners now coming in, digital creators that are coming in, and e-commerce people that are coming in. So for the folks that don't really know you, Joel, can you take maybe 5-10 minutes and tell us your story, man? What is the Joel Irway story?
Yeah. The Joel Irway story starts back in, let's say, 2013, before I had really become a digital entrepreneur. So back then, I had dreams of launching my own business. Like many people, I don't say many people because we're now bridging generations now, and there's a new generation coming up. But the book that got me excited was Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week. So I remember I was working as an engineer, a sales engineer back then. So I went to school for engineering. I haven't done any sort of engineering in a very long time, but um, I was working for a commercial heating and cooling sales firm. I had read this book because I was trying to optimize our own sales processes, and somehow I got turned on to this book, not for entrepreneurship, but I was literally trying to use this book to help our existing business. And that was how I learned about email marketing. And we weren't doing email marketing at the time. We were a very old school company, super outdated tech. I mean, in 2013, I was told to just go knock on doors, and people hated when I showed up and just knocked on doors and made sales calls. I'm like, this isn't going to work. So I need to find other ways to stay in touch with them. I had a very small local customer base. So that's how I got turned on to the 4 Hour Work Week and email marketing. And to make a long story kind of shorter, was very successful with email marketing for that company, but my boss took it away from me. He's like, I still want you knocking on doors. I'm like, okay, here's the breaking point. Like, I mean, I brought in $450,000 in new revenue in 30 days doing this simple email newsletter, and I would normally do like 1.3 million a year. So I like increased by like more than 40% in a month. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's nice. I'll take it and give it to someone else. And I'm like, okay, cool. This isn't going to work. So that sparked my journey into entrepreneurship. I first got started, I launched my own digital product. I did an ebook selling to engineers, then realized I can't make it, a ton of money only selling an ebook. Like I had no other back end products. So I launched some consulting, started to learn more about digital marketing, running paid ads, running funnels. And I saw there was a need for people who needed help with their sales and marketing webinars, which is what I had done in my previous career for about 5 years. So there was a lot of money to be had there. There's a big opportunity. And I seized that. So I built the webinar agency in 2014, launched that, and have run that really ever since. I've really tailored back the number of clients that I do with webinars at this current point, because we do a lot more than just webinars. But I built my brand and reputation helping other people launch their own sales and marketing webinars. I mean, we launched multiple 8 and 9 figure companies off the back of some of the work that we did. Now, we can't take all the credit. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into building those types of companies, but the platform that launched them were off the, a lot of the work that we put in. So, been very fortunate to work with some of the best marketers in the industry, as clients, as partners, as friends, and have grown ever since. So now I teach what I call the digital product partner model, which is really a game changer for anyone who's in the agency space. So if you're looking to get into the agency space, it's really, really important, right? So like if you're, if you've been following this idea, like, hey, I want to launch a marketing agency, or I really want to, I love marketing, but I don't really know how to monetize it and go grab my, my clients, grab my first couple of clients. Like this is going to be game changing for you, because it's less about the sheer volume of clients that you can bring in and more about how do I attract partners, which will be the easiest yes that you'll ever hear, right? So it's very, very, sales friendly. Like you don't need a sales script to make this work. I'll give you the script that we use here today. But if I were to go back and start over from scratch, go back to 2014 when I launched the webinar agency, this is the model that I would do. Because I went down, I initially, for the first 2 or 3 years, went down a um, very traditional agency model where I just need to get clients and clients and clients and clients and clients. And it ends up being very, very challenging. But I'm excited to share with you guys all what this model is. So there you go, Paulson. How's that? That was a
That's
rambling version, but hopefully it gives you guys a picture.
so this is a long format. So the
Mhm.
2-day workshop is like we're going to be talking about the reality of how to build these businesses and take some time and going through detail. So I appreciate the thorough answer, Joel. So I came across of your stuff, Joel. I want to say like 2017 or end of 2016, and I was in the hunt to figure out who is the best person on the planet for webinars. And I was in healthcare. I had a dental agency, and my goal was to put together like an evergreen webinar funnel to attract clients. And we all know how difficult that is. And I remember hearing from hundreds of people, two names that always just came up was like Jason Flanagan and Joel Erwig. Go, one of those guys are going to be fantastic for webinars. And it's amazing seeing like a full circle of your journey inside of High Level as well. For those of you that are watching, I'm curious for you, like why are you here on this webinar today on a Monday? What are you hoping to learn? I'm curious. Put in the chat, what are you hoping to learn? Are you trying to get your first client? Maybe you're overwhelmed by high level a little bit, and that's pretty normal, by the way, with the amount of features we have. Maybe you're just like simply trying to set up high level, and I have some resources for those of you that are in that category. Or maybe you're just curious, you're kind of on the fence, and you're like, what are these two guys talking about? Let me just learn. Maybe you're a small business owner and you're like, I know some marketing, but I want to get better. You're trying to level yourself up. So, but in the comments, tell me why are you ultimately turned into a live webinar today with us? And I want to be able to understand my audience just like you, Joel. And I want to know, do we need to gear our thoughts and our perspectives and all these things? For those of you that signed up, welcome in. And today we're going to talk about the AI partner plan. And idea here is to show you guys how to scale your agency by becoming like a product partner. It's almost like a Salesforce system that you're building around you without being in the trenches so much. And I'm going to let Joel help us navigate through that. But I want you to know, if you're here, you're going to learn about the AI partner plan. And this is going to help you navigate through, get your first clients, scale. And I'll tell you this, as a whole, my the one thing I'll tell you is these are all extraordinary results. These are not promises that you're going to go make a bunch of money. So, total disclaimer, our goal is not to make you feel like you're going to go make $100,000 next week. Our goal is to just share from our practices, share from the mistakes we've made. So, just buckle in. There's a lot going on here. So, Joel, what is the AI partner plan? What are we going to learn today on day one?
Yeah, I'm just reading through some of the comments here, Paulson, and I see a lot of people that are saying like, "Get my first client," right? Subrata, Elaine, Charlie, right? Three back to back. Get my first client. Get my first client. Right? I need a script, new to high level, and so that's a big focus of what these 2 days are. Today, right here today, I'm going to give you guys a script. You're going to get a script. Okay, I'm going to teach you what this model is. I'm going to show you everybody who needs this service in which we are going to provide, and then I'm going to show you how to insert yourself as that provider, that partner who is going to be able to fulfill that without limiting your income. We're not chasing retainers here. We're not selling low ticket products or low ticket agency services. Excuse me. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I'm, I am more so a believer of everything has its place for the right people for the right situation. So I'm not here to bash anything because I've done almost all of the different agency models, and I still do many of them here today. But for those who see the vision, they see the future of what marketing can provide for so many businesses, and you're looking to take that first step into, okay, what do I offer? What do I sell? That's the whole thing about what we're doing here today and tomorrow. We're going to show you the script. I'm going to give you 11 sources of leads that you can go find today. And I'm going to challenge all of you. So we're going to do some work here today where you are going to be forced to go reach out to a handful of people. And I'm also going to show you a laundry list of people who've gone through a similar training that I've given in the past, who took action and they got results. So there's no reason why you guys cannot be building momentum here today, regardless of your situation. So that's the AI partner model is showing people how to create digital products, low ticket digital products, and partner with people who want that but don't know how to launch it. It's that simple. Now we're going to be targeting people that you probably aren't thinking of right now, but um, there are millions of people who need this product and service and aren't even really don't even know that what we're going to be doing here is even possible. So I'll
I love it. I think so, this whole AI thing is a pretty big world already, and it's already very well underserved across the board. Most people, a small business owner does not know what's possible out there compared to a marketer, and a marketer often doesn't know what's out there if you compare their knowledge to like a software developer in the world of AI, right? So there's always levels of information that we're going to kind of help you navigate through. And just a quick note as we get started, on the top left corner, you might see a QR code. And what that QR code is an invitation for you to sign up to a high level trial. And the benefits of jumping into a higher level trial here right now today is one, you get Joel Irway's resources that's part of this workshop. There's going to be sales scripts, snapshots with systems, and all kinds of things that he's built out that's going to be all provided to you. Now, if you're an existing user, no, you don't need to go sign up for another high level account to get the resources. We'll email everything over to you. So just stay patient. We'll make that available. But you're watching and you don't have high level yet, this is a perfect time to just jump in. Um, Joel, how did you come across the partner model? What before AI, did you, what's your experience with partner model? I know you've done multiple launches. I know you've done millions of dollars of, you know, product launches. I know you from that world from years ago. Like, so, but help everyone understand your experience in the partner model before we can jump into the AI partner model.
yeah. Ag- how most people think about agencies is they're putting in a lot of effort and not getting that much in return. The unique thing about marketers and agency owners is that we see the bottom line results of what we produce typically. Like from all intents and purposes, like we are driving customers, we're driving leads, we're driving sales. So we see how much we are helping a business go from, you know, X to Y, A to Z, right? So we can see that gap. And very often we never capture the true value of what we bring to the table. And this is what I was running into in the first handful of years of running the webinar agency. I would charge an upfront fee to build out a marketing and sales webinar. I would help support them during the launch. I would see them, you know, as they were starting to get success or really crush it, but I was only making whatever that front end fee was. And so for me, there was very little positioning in what I did on the front end that allowed me to be able to capture what that back end really was. And it's not necessarily just like a rev share deal. It's more so of positioning of ownership, because when I after 2 years of doing this, I saw the cycle that I was going to be going through over and over and over again. I would attract a client, I would close the client, I would onboard the client, I would start fulfillment, I would deliver the assets, and then I would support them during the launch. And that was the cycle. And once that launch was over, it's like, okay, what do I have to do? Well, I have to go get another client. And it was just this endless cycle. And in order for me to increase the amount of revenue that I wanted to make, what do I need to do? Well, I need to get on the client acquisition train, and I need to build a really, really good, solid client acquisition system. And that became a funnel for chaos, because it was in reality, more clients equals more chaos, unless you are like a rock star operator, which most of us marketers are not. And if you are, God bless you. And I am envious of that skill set, but that's not me. I am not your, your systemized person. I'm the creative. I'm the big idea, the visionary, and that's where I need to stay. So when I tried to scale my agency many times, I hired COOs, I hired, CEOs, I hired rockstar A level project managers, and we tried to build out these teams. Sometimes we were successful, sometimes we weren't, but more clients just equaled more chaos. And so in 2016, I decided to just flip it on its head and try a new offer with an existing client that I currently had, who came back to me for a new project. So we crushed it with them. We did a multi-million-dollar webinar with them on the front end. I think he paid me $5,000 total. And they built a, multi-seven-figure business off this one webinar. And so a couple of years later, they came back to me like, "Hey, I want to do another one with you. What's it look like?" And I pitched them this partner model, and I ended up doing $18,000 paid to me in 7 days versus $5,000 for probably 6 months worth of work. And that changed everything for me. So from that point on, I put a very, very, very heavy emphasis on that partnership model, and I refined it, and I found a blue ocean opportunity for most people to be able to take advantage of now, thanks to AI. Like, this really became possible with AI. We could have done this without AI, it just would have taken a little bit longer, but now there's no excuse, because no matter what, there are still going to be people who need this service regardless if they use AI or not, and we'll talk about that down the road. But that was everything. It's like I
Yeah.
no longer wanted to charge for time, which if you're charging flat project fees, you are charging for time, even though it might not be billed as billable hours. You're still charging for time. And um, I wanted to be paid on results, and I also wanted to be able to have ownership, have equity. Like, I wanted to own anything that we created. And that's the difference. I've seen a couple of people say, "Oh, isn't this affiliate marketing?" It is not, because you have ownership, you have equity over everything that you create. This isn't sharing affiliate links and getting a commission. This is building the table and inviting partners to come sit down at this
Yeah.
table with you. And I'll share that a little bit later.
I love this. This is pretty advanced strategies for those of you that are coming in, and maybe you are an agency owner, you're a marketer, you're a consultant. There's not a lot of people doing this business model. So we're about 15 minutes into the call. Joel, why don't if you don't mind, let's dive into the slides. I know me and you could probably spend hours chatting through all kinds of stuff, but to kind of keep our conversation a bit more structured, why don't you go ahead and share the slides and we'll go through the lessons we have kind of prepped in structure,
Sure.
and we'll go through, and navigate through that.
Excellent. Okay. So, Paulson, maybe you can help me out here. I am going to try and do this properly.
Yeah, so add to the scene. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so you can
Um,
see
I can
the
see your
slides.
browser. Yep, I see your browser.
Okay. And gang, if you want to give me just about 10 seconds to get my organization here set up as I'm moving windows around, you'll see if you are staring at me for any reason, you will see me looking up to the side. I have a million monitors. Okay. So if you see me looking all over the place, I'm paying attention to you. I promise. I just have a lot of windows and monitors in which I reference. But
Yeah,
cool. You guys ready to get started? All right. Excellent.
absolutely. If you don't mind full screening the slides, let me see. I think it might be if you go to top left.
Okay. If I
Um,
full screen, sometimes it does. So Google Slides is a little wonky. Um,
or maybe make it a little bit bigger, like the
okay.
browser. I see your. There it
Here.
is. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Excellent.
There it is.
All right. So let me just click this
Awesome.
button. So we
Yeah.
should be good. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, let's get started. So here today, we are going to talk about the AI partner plan and really how to start or scale your agency by becoming a digital product partner. Now, we've covered a couple of things in the introduction already, so I may browse or breeze through a couple of early slides, which is totally cool. Paulson shared, results may vary. Here's the disclaimer: past performance is not a guarantee of future performance. We don't guarantee that you will experience financial gain or generate revenue. Your results will vary. So there's the big bold disclaimer. I think you all are intelligent. You understand this takes work, this takes risk. Even with AI, you still got to put in the effort. This is not going to churn its own machine for us yet. Who knows what will happen in the
The next
the
6 months.
yeah in the next 6 months, but it's not where we are today. So still need some human effort here as well. So this is day one of a 2-day extravaganza, a 2-day journey, and a 2-day really workshop. And I call it a workshop. We call this a workshop because we are actually going to be getting stuff done. Okay. I am going to be challenging you. I am going to be asking you to put in some effort. I'm going to be giving you a script. I'm going to be asking you to reach out to potential leads. And I'm going to show you how to find these leads. And we're going to be building some stuff here together. So, what I need from you is full participation. Okay. Full engagement. I'm going to be asking you to comment a lot. I'm going to be asking you questions. There will be a little bit of delay when we do these streaming events. So, there may be a pause, but it is up to you to engage. Okay. Because those silent lurkers go nowhere. If you want to engage, this isn't Netflix, guys. All right. I am not your entertainer. I am here to build momentum for you. So, on day one here today, I'm going to give you kind of the foundation, the lay of the land. And we're going to talk about what AI partner acquisition is with regards to digital product partnership. And then day two, we're going to talk about partnership execution and rev share setup. So, if we're good, give me a thumbs up, guys. Give me an emoji or give me a let's go in the chat. And so I know that we are ready to rock and roll, and we will roll. Okay, cool. So today we are going to cover the digital product partnering model. Yeah, and we're going to compare that to what the traditional agency trap is. We're going to talk about why businesses are begging for partners right now. And we're going to talk about the no-brainer partner lead generation script. I'm going to give you 11 different lead sources to find your first partner today. And then we're going to also end with some Q&A. So make sure you get your questions ready. I'll stick around. I know I've got I've got plenty of time to work with you guys. So I'm excited to do some Q&A at the end. I already did my intro. Very, very quick. My name is Joel Irway. I built the webinar agency back in 2013, scaled that up to nearly 8 figures. I fell victim to what most agency owners do, which is constantly chasing clients for money. In 2016, I made $18,000 in 7 days when I tested this new partnership model, which is what I'm going to be sharing with you here today. And over the past 6 months, I've been refining this model now with the advent of AI and the developments of AI, because now there's a huge opportunity for people to take this model even without marketing experience, and to partner with just an endless supply of people who need this. And now you can launch your own digital product partner business here in no time flat. So that's what we're going to be covering here today. So, as I said before, I'm not Netflix, okay? This is your next level. If you want to get something out of this, then you've got to put something in. So, what I want you guys to do, type in the chat, drop some emojis, respond to the prompts, get live, get engaged, because engaged people execute, okay? So, let's make this real. I ask for lots of engagement, not because I'm your entertainer. So, if you want to get something out of this, you got to put something in. Is that cool? Everybody with me? We're going to engage? All right, cool.
At least put down a one if emojis are too hard to find. We just love seeing the engagement because it allows, us to just be energized and go
That's right.
through a 2-hour teaching.
That's right. All right. So, what I want us to do is I want to rewind the clock a little bit. And I want you to answer in the chat. Why did you start? Or if you haven't started yet, why do you want to start your agency? Okay. Was it for more freedom? Was it to finally control your own time? Was it to build something meaningful? Maybe to escape a job that drained you? Whatever it was, I want you to hold on to that answer, because what we're walking through here today isn't just another tactic or a model. It's a way to reconnect with the original reason that you started. Okay. So you didn't start your agency to build somebody else's business. Am I right? You started to build your own. And so today I want to show you how the digital product partner model brings that vision back into focus. Okay. So what was that thing? What was that reason, that core driver of why you wanted to start your own marketing agency? Because here's what usually happens, right? And tell me if this feels true for you. You started your agency with a vision, which was probably not just to make money, but to create freedom. That was mine. I wanted to create my marketing agency so I could spend time with my kids. I started it when my son was born. Actually, it was a year before he was born, but I knew that we were planning a family, and it was because I wanted to be home for my kids. Period. That's what it was. I wanted to be there for my family. Maybe you imagined working from anywhere, right? Taking your laptop on vacation with you or on a trip and being able to work remotely, picking up your kids from school. That was my why, right? I just wanted to be there for my kids for everything that they were doing, and being the one who never had to ask for time off. So you might have thought, I'll call the shots. I'll own my own time. I'll finally be free. And at first, probably felt that way. Maybe you got your first client, the money hit, you felt like a boss, right? And you even told your friends, I run my own agency now. Boom. That feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of fulfillment is what drives a lot of us. That's what drove me. I loved being able to tell people, yeah, I run my own business. I run a digital marketing agency, right? That's what I do. Like, oh, wow, nice, right? But what happened? What happened when you finally got started? Well, one client became two, two became three, then three became seven, and now you've got Slack notifications at midnight. Okay. You're stuck doing scope revisions on Saturday. You're still saying, okay, well, after this next project, I'll finally breathe. Or maybe I need to hire a project manager. But let's be honest, you left a 9 to 5 trapped and built a 24/7 hamster wheel. That freedom that you imagined, well, it turned into constant pressure. That flexibility that you craved, well, now it just means that your clients think you're always available, right? We failed to put up boundaries, and now we're getting overrun. And here is the worst part. We talked about this earlier. You see the bottom line of the results that you provide for your clients. And even when you do everything right, you're still treated like the marketing guy or gal, not a strategic partner. And that's when you start to wonder, did I just build myself a more stressful job with the fancy logo? That's the drift that we're going to correct here today. So go ahead and drop an amen in the chat if you feel me, right? How many of you have ever done work for a client? You saw the results, but you got paid peanuts, and they didn't really respect you. They didn't really appreciate you, right? If you're ready to get off that hamster wheel, go ahead and type amen in the chat. Because why is it that most agency owners feel stuck even when they're good at what they do, even when they crush it? Guys, I was building 8-figure webinars for clients. I launched some of the biggest brands in the space that you now know today, and the respect was minimal, right? That those earnings were peanuts. Well, I think you guys know the answer, right? It's because you're always selling yourself. Why are we stuck on this hamster wheel? Because you're always selling yourself. You're always pitching. You're always proving. You land one client, you onboard, you fulfill, you deliver, and then what? You start all over again. Some people will tell me, well, you got to build the machine. You got to build the system. That was the path that I went down. I tried to build that machine. I tried to build that system. But if you are constantly trying to fill a bucket and that bucket keeps getting emptied, you have a completely broken model. You don't have a broken machine, you have a broken model. If you can't earn more from one client over and over and over again, and the only way for you to make more money is to get more clients, that, my friends, is a broken model. You're constantly reselling yourself. You have to be reselling yourself to your existing clients so they don't fire you, right? And that chase never ends. That's not freedom. That's the hamster wheel. But why does it feel that way, right? Well, because most of us are looking at the game through the wrong lens. We're trained to position ourselves as the solution to somebody else's existing business. But I challenge you to think of business like baking pies. Go ahead and look at this screen over here, okay? Because this is the big revelation that changed everything for me. You see, a business owner has already baked their own pie. Okay, and it's delicious. It's fresh, it's full, and they love it. If they're a baker, this is their baby. Like imagine everybody is a baker and they're baking their own pie, right? They're very proud of their baby. They're very proud of that pie. And the way that most people, and the biggest thing is, they're so proud of it that they also want to protect it. Okay. They want to protect what they've created. But here's what happens, guys. The way that most of us, the way that most people try to do business as a marketing agency is they'll see somebody else's pie and they'll approach that business owner and they'll say, hey, if you give me a small piece of your pie, I promise I'm going to make it bigger. How many of you guys see the problem with that positioning? Think about that for a second. What is the problem with that positioning? You're coming in to say, hey, I see your pie. Why don't you give me one tiny slice and I'm going to help you make that pie a lot bigger. Well, number one, we're not building, we're begging. We're begging for a slice of something that the business owner already owns and is actively trying to protect. What does that mean when you're in protection mode, guys? What does that mean when you're in protection mode? You're trying to protect something that you've already built. Well, we're naturally met with resistance, right? Sales resistance. Oh, this guy's trying to sell me something. Here's my pie. I'll probably listen to what he's saying, but ultimately, I got to give him a small piece of my pie if we want to get it bigger. Well, if you're honest, even when they do say yes, it never really feels like yours. You could be a great salesperson, or you might have a really valuable service that probably does help them get a bigger piece of the pie, but you're still never going to feel like you have ownership in it. You're still the helper, the afterthought, the outsider. So if you've ever felt like you were just trying to get a piece of somebody else's pie, go ahead and drop the word pie in the chat, right? I want to make sure this is sinking in here because this is you guys have to understand this in order for everything else to really make sense. And this is going to change your vision. This is going to change your actions and ultimately change who you become when you understand this metaphor. Okay, drop the word pie if you've ever felt like you're trying to get a piece of somebody else's pie. Okay. So what if you stopped asking for a slice and started inviting them to bake something new with you? Okay. Well, guys, that's what co-creation is. Co-creation. You're not taking from their table. You're building a whole new table together. One where you both sit down, you put your hands in the dough and you say, let's see how big we can make this together. Okay. I don't want any part of what you already have. You keep it. Congratulations. You've got that. Man, that looks awesome. I hope you really, really appreciate it. Okay. You built that. It's yours. But let's see if we can build an entirely new revenue stream together. Maybe this new pie becomes even bigger than your existing pie. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't. But how cool would that be if we could build something new or potentially bigger together? Well, guess what happens when they see that shift? If you present it like that, and you probably won't present that analogy to your partners, but imagine when now you start to see through that lens together, what happens? Well, because they're not giving anything up, they're all in. And they will gladly split 50%, maybe even more. I've had up to 80% of these deals because the risk is low and we're not in protection mode, but the upside, it's unlimited. unlimited. Okay. The entire conversation shifts when you change your agency messaging and positioning to one of co creation. So you're no longer an expendable contractor, you're a valued partner. You no longer chase clients, you're baking futures. You feel me? So this is co-creation, building something new together where you can easily earn at least half of what you're putting in or of what you're building together while the partner funds the launch. Give me an amen if that sounds good to you, right? A partner is going to fund the launch and you still get at least 50% of everything that you guys create. Heck yeah, right? So you want out of the hamster wheel, don't pitch them for a piece, invite them to take a bigger pie with you. Invite them to bake a bigger pie, bake a bigger pie with you, right? You guys feeling what I'm throwing down? So if you're done chasing and ready to co-create something much bigger, go ahead and type "let's bake" in the chat below, because this is it, guys. This is the model. Like, this is how you shift your positioning and you shift your results. So what are we actually creating here? Okay, let's get crystal clear on what it is that we're actually building. How are we co-creating this? Well, we're not just spinning up a funnel or tossing up a lead magnet. That'll be part of the assets, but that's small thinking. Selling funnels, small thinking. Building a lead magnet, small thinking. We are building a revenue generating machine that pays today and compounds tomorrow. That's called an asset. Guys, most of you are chasing projects. You need to be chasing assets. I want something that pays today and compounds tomorrow. And that starts with a low ticket, a low priced, impulsive digital product, a low ticket front end offer. Something simple, something smart, something that can be co-created and launched in 7 days or less. You see, a digital product with a $10 price point, anywhere between $10 to $95, right? Could be a mini ebook, could be a mini course, a cheat sheet, a playbook. There's endless things that we can create as a low ticket front end, whatever form it takes. It's designed to be easy to buy and fast to launch. Okay. Nothing longer than 7 days. That's it. Because we want to be able to get out if it doesn't work or scale if it does. We don't want to be tied to something that is just painfully bleeding everybody out. 7 days or less, that's all I want. Okay. So then what we do, so we've got our low ticket front end offer here. Then what we do is we make an automated upsell. So this is usually priced between $100 and $1,000, and it's where you're going to collect some of your profit and really start to make your money. But finally, this is where the real money is made. Because when you co-create this together, all of these customers and leads that you generate, they end up on an email list and an audience. And Paulson, I know you know this, and I know we have some very smart marketers on this call that also know this, but you own this audience permanently. Permanently. And this is where you can sell more things and make more money. And this is where agency owners get shielded out. They get blocked out. They don't get to own any of what they build. They don't own the funnels, and they most importantly don't own the email list and the audience. But this is where the relationship is built and where all of the money is made on the back end. Okay. So that audience, you own it with your partner. And that audience is the real asset, because once you've built the machine, you don't just make one sale, you create leverage. You don't just get paid once, you get paid on the back end again and again. And you don't just deliver, you own. And here's where it gets really powerful. Are you feeling me? You can launch new offers to this audience. You can build back-end high-ticket products with them. You can create other low-ticket audience or low-ticket audience. You can do whatever you want with this audience to monetize it. You can create continuity and recurring revenue streams where your partner fulfills and you are just the one who is marketing and selling it, right? I don't know about you, but fulfillment's not my game. Not that I have plenty of my own digital products and I do love coaching. I do like it, but I really love being able to just put my marketing cap on, figure out how do I create more offers and how do I spin up these ideas so we can sell more and more and more and provide value to this audience. And my partner is the one who creates the products, does the customer support, does the customer fulfillment. I become the rainmaker. Give me that hat all day long, baby. And you can build this all from one little front end win. Okay. You've gone from vendor to partner, from fulfillment to equity, from one-time income to a compounding digital asset that pays you while you sleep. Okay.
I got a couple of questions for you, Joel.
Yes,
This
sir.
this this is making a lot of sense for me from a business model standpoint. I
Mhm.
loved your analogy of the baker, and instead of trying to get a seat at their existing table, invite them to build a new table.
Yes.
And I think that's a different type of pivot that most digital marketers are not used to. It's like how do we build a new revenue line, right? My question for you is the low ticket front offer. And I know there's a lot of SaaSpreneurs watching. I know there's a lot of software people watching. And one of the things that we often see is like trials and all kinds of stuff. Is there anything below $10 that you ever recommend? Because my gut tells me no. If I'm launching a product, I don't want to go too far low because I want to attract a certain type of leads and avatars.
Yeah. It's funny because the market has shifted a lot. And this is one of the reasons why why this opportunity is so blue ocean. It's so huge right now. Is that e-commerce is it's just going to continue to grow. Like with TikTok Shop, these people are buying low ticket products, e-commerce like at the push of a button. Like everything is being engineered now. High level is engineering the checkout process to be as impulsive as possible. Stripe Link, like they're saving your credit card information. Like it's meant to be impulsive, right? And so I don't really look at price point like I used to. Years ago, I would look at how low is too low. Um, I'm seeing people with $3 products right now. A good friend of mine has a $3 digital ebook that he sells, and he's profitable after, all of his upsells and whatnot. Like he's profitable on day one. And
Well,
so there are valuable ways to like there are still valuable customers that buy
yeah,
those low ticket products. And what's funny is everything is converting it short right now. Like
yeah,
simple sales letters that take you 20 minutes to build, not long, complicated things. We're talking like headline, subheadline, bullets, and a buy button. We're seeing,
yeah.
convert right now. And so it's crazy how much opportunity there is. So I don't to answer your question, I don't look at price point as nearly as critical as I used to.
Yeah, the second question I have is there seems to be a theme of products versus services,
Hmm.
right? Can you help us understand the power of products instead of services? Like I know digital marketers here, they maybe they're selling SEO services or Facebook ad services. But in my mind, the opportunity is in creating digital assets that doesn't require as much heavy lifting of fulfillment so you can scale. Like, am I thinking about it the right way?
Yeah, and there's a couple different types of people, right? And there are people who just love services, and I get that. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. The world is always going to need services, and if that's your goal, and you've built a team, and you want to build a team to bring in more services, absolutely keep selling services. Products can still lead to your services. So, creating some form of product on the front end as your customer generation machine or your lead generation machine, you can be profitable with those products. But ultimately, the people who I see really scale big time, sometimes they have a blend of products and services, but there are other people who sell only products because there's far less time that goes into that fulfillment. And so your job really becomes the opportunist of how do I find the best product to sell and how does that create the most leverage?
Yeah, I would love to kind of navigate through and figure out the difference of the traditional agency versus like a product agency or product partner model. So let's keep going.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So it seems like there's a lot of engagement. So I appreciate all of you. And I know that you guys are getting value out of this. So let's keep that up. All right. Let's keep up that engagement because that's how this stuff really starts to sink in. Okay. So that is really so we talk about digital products so much. And the reason why I went all in on digital products is because there's so much power in it, guys. There really is. They're profit centers. Digital products are profit centers that are added on top of existing businesses. So you're not taking anything, you're building something new with your partners and scaling that as high as you can. So with AI, we can create these digital products fast, or at least version one, we can create very, very quickly to validate what our offers are. And then we can scale them even faster. And there are endless people who want to build one, but they just don't know how. So if you want to get out of that hamster wheel, that agency hamster wheel, or you want to avoid going in it altogether if you're just getting started, reframe everything in which you're viewing right now. Don't pitch them for a piece. Invite them to bake a bigger pie with you. So, traditional agency model, right? We get a client and we lose a client and then repeat. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time covering this because I think we've really just hammered this home. But with the traditional agency model, you're on that client acquisition hamster wheel. And with the digital product partner model, you have one partner or two or three. You can bring on as many as you want, but this is not client focused, meaning you do not need to build a client acquisition engine that is feeding your pipeline every single day. One partner, one great partner is really all you need to create recurring leveraged income. So with the traditional agency model, you have deliverables, right? So time-based work, even if it's flat project fees, it's still your time. In the DPP model, it's value, and that is how you get outcome-based ownership. Traditional agency model, you have constant revisions, you got scope creep. Digital product partner model, you have strategic execution with creative freedom. Traditional agency model, you get paid once, or maybe you have a retainer, but you're still trying to you're still selling yourself over and over and over again, so your client doesn't fire you. And then your DPP model, you get paid again and again, and there's no limit to your income. Traditional agency model, you're replaceable until you're as replaceable until they find the next agency. And here, you're co-creator and equity holder. Traditional agency model, when ads stop working, if you're running an advertising agency, then you're fired. And here, when ads work, you keep scaling. Like that is the difference between these two models. So the big question is, okay, where do we find these digital product partners? You see, when people think about partners, they often think of big name influencers or established online experts or coaches or consultants, right? They think digital products, that's immediately who they think of. But I'm here to tell you that is not where the gold is. Okay? That is not where the goal is. 2 weeks ago, my next door neighbor, I was playing golf with him, and he owns a local bakery here in Niagara Falls. I'm on the American side, a very successful local bakery, might I add. And he'd been seeing my content online, my social media, and we've talked here and there. And so we're on hole number 14. We're about to tee off, and he gets a little nervous. He's like, "So Joel, let me ask you something." He goes, "I've been following your content that you post on social media, and I've got an idea for a course I'd like to launch on the side or to earn a little extra money. Can you help me?" Now I'm going to pause real quick because, guys, this is the opportunity. Okay. A lot of people think the opportunity is only online coaches, course creators, and experts. Okay. It's not just coaches or consultants, it's successful local business owners. It's the local bakery owner. It's the hardware store owner. It's the landscaper. It's the contractor. It's the banker. Heck, it's even people who are hyper successful in working a 9 to 5. They might not even be an owner and they're looking for a side hustle. They're looking for a side income stream. It's professionals who already have cash flow, people who've built something real, whether it's offline or in person, but want to create and invest in a new income stream. Tell me in the chat how big you think that market is. Okay. Massive. Say
Huge.
undefined, right? Right. Undefined, massive in the chat because it is, you have to look through a different lens in order to see the true opportunity. Stop going after the red ocean over here, which is people who are already launching digital products and maybe trying and failing, and go after the people who know they want to launch a course, have always wanted to write a book. And if you are the bridge to make that happen, you would be surprised at how much ownership you are able to take instantly. Instantly, right? The people that we want to target are these people who have the cash flow because they're not broke. Okay. They're not stuck. They're ready. They just don't know the digital game. You know the digital game. There are gabillions of people who still don't know the digital game, and I think we underestimate how valuable that is, guys. Okay, they just don't know how to package it. They don't know how to launch it. But yet they're sitting on that credibility. They're sitting on that expertise, their skills, maybe even small audiences. So let me ask you a question, okay? How many people do you know who have ever said to you, hey, I've always wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to launch a course, package what I know, but they never did because they didn't know where to start. Right? Drop a me in the chat if you've ever had that conversation with someone or ever had anyone tell you, hey, I've always wanted to write that book. Or I've always wanted to figure out how to launch a course. Type a me in the chat if you've ever had that conversation. Okay. Because here are the active leads that reach out to me nearly daily. And I'm not actively searching for new partners right now. They just constantly are in my inbox, right? This is someone who reached out to me and he said, hey, I may be a good partner for those interested in your program. As I started to, so this was when I started to talk about my digital product partner program. I have people on my list. So I promoted this. I got a bunch of marketers who wanted to join. And they did join. I started teaching this model. But what also happened was I got a flood of people on the other side say, hey, I'm not interested in becoming a digital product partner, but I am interested in taking my expertise and partnering with those people. So can you marry the two, right? I'm a lead for all of those people who are joining that program, that training. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I got just a flood of these people to respond. It's like, hey, I have no interest in learning how to do this, but I have so much stuff that I want to teach. And so this is him just pitching me on all of his content, right? Here's another inbox that came in to me 2 or 3 weeks ago. Hey, would love to catch up and hear what you're doing with partnerships. Guys, this is a hot offer. So many people want this. When you get more people coming in, when you stop talking about it, or when they're approaching you and saying, hey, how can I launch a course? You know that this is a hot offer. So when someone partners with you, right, they're not hiring a marketer, they're not hiring a service provider, they're betting on a system. And that's what they're betting on with you, right? All of your potential leads, all of your potential partners are betting on your system. And when you step into that role, you stop being the optional vendor and you start to become a vital multiplier. You're not trying to squeeze into their existing operations and find a role on their team. You're showing them how to build an entirely new revenue stream. That's the new opportunity. Okay. So think about it. They've got skills, they've got stories, they've got a following or a reputation or a message, but they're sitting on it. It's not monetized, it's not scalable, it's not leveraged. And then you show up, right? Not with a funnel template or a pricing sheet, but you show up with a plan. Say, hey, here's the offer, here's the funnel we're going to run, here's the playbook, and here's how we'll launch it. All I need you to do is fund the ads and we'll split the outcome. Deal? If you can position it like that, guys, you'll get more people than ever to tell you yes and just begging, when can I start? Okay. You stop being the contractor, you become the clarity. And when you bring clarity to somebody else who's already burning to move, that's when things ignite. So let me ask you, if you're ready to stop pitching services and start multiplying your revenue, I want you to type higher role in the chat because you must step into a higher role if you want higher results. Period. That's the secret, guys. It's not some new offer. It's not some new sales system. If you want to become a high earning professional, an agency owner, a marketer, you need to step into a higher role yourself and become that person who deserves higher respect and higher paychecks. Okay. Drop higher role in the chat if you are ready to step into that role and you can see yourself building pies with other people, building new pies and sharing in the upside because they value you as a partner. You have to value yourself and step into that higher role if you want that to become true. Because there are 3 levels to this agency world that we live in. And I'm going to break it down for you because once you see this, then it's all going to start to make sense. Because the level that you lead from determines the life that you live. I'm going to repeat that again because it's that powerful. The level that you lead from determines the life that you live. And level 1 of agencies is the freelancer. Okay, now there's good things and there's bad things with all of these levels. Don't get me wrong. I've been through all of these levels. And at the freelancer, the good thing is you start to get control of your time. Well, sort of. right? You set your own rules theoretically until you get a lot of clients and they start dictating the rules, and you don't answer to a boss. Those are all the good things. But the bad things in the freelancer world is that you say yes to clients that you shouldn't because the bills are piling up and the bills are due. You work late because you're scared to miss deadlines. So your spouse is very upset with you. You miss your kids' practice because you got to pay the bills, you got to keep the lights on. You're always proving yourself. You're chasing testimonials, your referrals, or the next gig. And when you stop working, the money stops flowing. Those are all the bad things of what happens as a freelancer. Now, you might wake up and check Slack or email. There's a new revision request that has to come in who's 2 weeks late on payment. You jump into it anyway because if you push back, well, you're worried that they might bail and you're going to lose that client entirely. You have freedom, but you don't have leverage. You work for yourself, but you're still working for someone else. So if you are in this role right now, I want you to go ahead and just type freelancer, right? And I want you to do so knowing that it's time to evolve. So type freelancer if you're in this role right now.
I love what you said earlier. The
Yes.
place that you operate from determines the type of level that you what was that you said before we started this whole
Yes.
segment, because that really hit the nail.
Yes. The level that you lead from determines the life that you live. And there's nothing more true from that. And that is an internal shift that everybody has to make. And that's my goal here for people is to understand that role that they have to transform into. And
Yeah, I love that. And for those of you that are watching, yes, this is what high level is doing, is helping you understand the type of an individual and an entrepreneur you can become. Yes, we have tools and features and all that stuff, but like the person that's operating the business is often our focus, which is why we do these workshops. I love that, Joel. Keep
mhm.
going, keep going. Let me get out of the way. So freelancer, and then after that, what is the hierarchy?
When we move past freelancer and we upgrade from freelancer, we move into founder. Okay. Now, founder means that you've actually built something. You've got real wins. You've got testimonials. They're starting to stack. You're starting to build systems. You might have some recurring clients. Maybe you even start hiring a small team so you get out of fulfillment. You're not just trading time. You've started to build some real offers. Now, the bad news is you are still the bottleneck, right? So you have that team, but they're going to rely on your brain to make it all work. You're still the glue to make all of this stuff happen. Now, what typically happens is you're answering DMs, Slack messages while you're making breakfast and trying to get the kids ready for school. You're onboarding one client and offboarding another. Your Stripe account looks good, but you're exhausted. You think once I finish this launch or once I get this system up and running, I'll finally be able to breathe. This is the trap that founders fall into. Okay. You have income, but you don't have protection. You have no insulation. You've scaled effort, but you still don't have ownership. So go ahead and type founder in the chat if any of what I just described sounds like you. I was in the founder mode for a very, very long time. Bank account kept growing. I was making investments into my retirement account, maxing out all this stuff, but I still felt completely wiped out. If you've ever felt that way, if you've made it to that second level, go ahead and type founder in the chat and let me see who's in that level.
Yeah.
So where do we go from founder? How do we upgrade from freelancer to founder? And where do we go after that? Well, level 3 is where we become force multiplier. So in the force multiplier, we start to build assets, not just deliverables. So we're shifting our position. You get to choose partners, and you're not chasing any clients. We move from chasing to choosing. You work on vision, not in chaos. Okay, you're working on the business, not inside of the business. And you co-create equity and scale with speed. So now what happens in the day of the life of a force multiplier is you wake up to Stripe notifications that your partner's new offer that you co-created just converted to 5, 10, maybe even 25 new sales overnight while you're sleeping. Okay. You hop on one call to review copy for the upsell that you co-created. You're checking the ad performance on a new $97 offer that built your list while you slept. You might send 2 voice notes to new prospects asking, hey, you want to build something new together? And so here you stop trading time, and you start compounding leverage. You stop asking for permission, and you start creating partnerships. You don't do fulfillment, you build freedom engines. So here's the real question that I want to ask you. Okay. When you show up, are you just hoping to get picked? Or are you the one building the table that everybody wants to sit at? Because force
Mm.
multipliers, we don't beg for opportunity, guys. We don't beg for opportunity. We create it. We are the prize. We don't get hired. We own a piece of everything that we touch. And if that's the posture that you're stepping into, then I want you to make it known right here. I want you to drop force multiplier in the comments, in the chat, if you are done trading time and you're ready to build something that pays you for years, because that is how you level up without needing to hire more team members, without needing to build a client acquisition system, without needing to answer to client requests via email. Hey, I need this done. I need it done by tomorrow. No, those all stop, period. They become non-existent when you become a force multiplier. You have to shift yourself to the prize instead of the provider. That is what the force multiplier becomes. All right,
Can I add something there real quick, Joel?
100%.
So over the years, I've met a lot of force multipliers. And one pattern I've personally seen is there's two different types of these individuals and organizations and brands that you would categorize as force multipliers. One, they all have the expertise, they have the, proof in the pudding. Everybody wants to do business with them. It's like they're the prize in some sense, like Joel said. But if you can operate without an ego, and if you can operate with humility, the force that you actually multiply is way bigger than someone who has that ego. And what I mean by that is the type of people that are around you, the type of projects that you take on, it should change people's lives and have an impact versus just letting it just be all for the money in a sense. Like, does that make sense? Maybe it resonates with some of you, but one of the things that I always notice is these massive CEOs and force multipliers, you would never know that they're multi-billionaires, and they're just you know khakis and a polo and nothing flashy, and you can see the type of deals that they handle and do. They're working with governments, they're working with institutions, they're working with, a whole different plethora of type of businesses versus someone who's just flashy. And there's like this ego thing that I can often see that often gets in the way of offers. People misunderstand the ego. Sometimes confidence is what you're trying to portray, and it could be misunderstood, right? So then, in some sense, if you're just serving, like you look at someone like Tony Robbins, like the guy just serves, serves, serves. The brand that he's built is servant leadership at the end of the day, right? So, either way, Joel, I just wanted to add that because it's just a pattern that I've seen among so many force multipliers.
100%. And one thing that I'll add is that these force multipliers understand the power of leverage. And so they understand the power of audience. And there's if I give an idea to Jeff Bezos versus an idea to a software startup who has zero customers, that same idea could be very valuable to that software startup, but I promise you it'll probably be worth billions of dollars to Jeff Bezos because he has the leverage. And that's one of the things that I want people to understand is you have to get leverage. Like you have to own that audience because that's how your ideas start to multiply. Is once you start to own that list and own that asset, it grows from 100 people to 1,000 people to 5,000 people to 10,000 people. That's true leverage. Like that's how you really become that multiplier.
Absolutely. Let's keep going.
Cool. All right. So next we want to talk about lead sources. Okay, and I want to get practical because we've really spent the first part of this really working on you and understanding the vision and getting you set up for success. But you're probably thinking right now, this all sounds amazing, but I don't know anyone who I could partner with, and so I'm going to crush that for you right now, and I crush that
Let's
objection
go.
for you. Because you are surrounded by people who need what you do. You just haven't been looking at them through the right lens. So most of us are trained to look for clients and people who want to hire us, but that's not who we're after. We're looking for people who are sitting on gold but have no idea how to mine it. Okay. So we're looking for potential partners. And I promise you, they're already in your world, period. You don't have to run ads to go get them. You just need a new filter. So let's go rapid fire. And as I list these out, I want you to write down every name that comes to mind. Okay. Take out a piece of paper, open up a Google Doc, whatever you want to do,
Or put in the comments.
put it in the comments, right? First, who are existing coaches or mentors that you've worked with in the past who haven't run any paid ads yet? That's a potential partner, period. You know they have something valuable. Number one, you know that they've got something valuable. Number two, you've already built trust and relationship and rapport with them, so they're more likely to, to listen to an idea. Or number three, they likely want to continue to scale. So that's probably like the closest, I call it closest to the conversion hole as we possibly can get. Number two, aspiring entrepreneurs who've talked about launching a book or a course or a program. These are people who are already in momentum. They've got that idea. They've probably verbalized it at some point, but they're just stuck because they think they got to learn all this marketing stuff and it can get really, really complicated. Number three, creators with a following, but no product. There are lots of influencers out there who are great at building an audience, but horrible at actually monetizing it. Number four, podcast hosts or authors who teach but don't sell. Very similar to creators with a following but no products, right? They've created these books, but they really haven't been able to take that next step of being able to get consistent customers or fill their coaching programs. Freelancers or consultants who are tired of trading time for money. So these are your service providers who are trying to reach that next level, right? Going from freelancer to founder or from founder to force multiplier. And they're looking to scale through some sort of productized service, or they're looking to get more leads for their agency or their service in a way that doesn't cost them a whole lot of money. Number six, local business owners. We're talking trainers, therapists, stylists. They've got loyal clients, but no digital products. Do you know what the biggest opportunity is for any local business owner if they wanted to launch a digital product? Okay. The biggest opportunity for local business owners is to teach other aspiring bakers how to run a successful bakery or how to launch a bakery, right? And and I'm not saying everybody wants that, but like those are seeds that you can plant in a conversation with a local business owner. It's like, hey, have you ever thought about teaching? Hey, you've got a really successful business. Have you ever thought about teaching other people how to do what you do? A lot of people will say yes then. Like, yeah, I've always thought about, launching a course and, or doing something like that. Like those are your potential partners, guys. Or just any successful business owner who's looking for a side income stream.
Yeah, I've even seen it where it's not even a business owner. Like, there was a nurse, and now he's like a big influencer
Mm-hmm.
actually, and he taught other nurses how to pass the NCLEX, and he launched a 997 course or a $1,500 course and literally crushed. And this is like 2018, I want to say. Now he's rolling around in a Lambo. Like I'm telling you, he's turned into an influencer in the
Yeah.
healthcare space, and it just all started with, you know what? I've tried to pass the NCLEX like 5 times and I couldn't. I'm just gonna put together information just to help other people pass the NCLEX, and that turned into like one of the largest launches of digital products in the world of nursing. I mean, he wasn't even an entrepreneur. And this launch turned him into an entrepreneur. So the opportunity is there. Um, I love local businesses as well, Joel.
Yeah. My first product that I ever launched was in the engineering test prep space. It was how to pass the fundamentals of engineering exam. You can still find it on Amazon Kindle. It's called 30-minute EIT, how to beat the FE exam without beating your head. And that's what launched my first consulting program, my first consulting offer, right? Now I did that myself, but there are so many opportunities if you just learn how to ask the right questions. So it is not just local business owners. Those are a great target because they've got some funds, but it can be anyone who's got some extra cash on the side and has dreamed or thought of building some sort of education offer, whether it's a mini book, whether it's a course. Workshop leaders or speakers who light up a room but don't monetize after, right? They're great speakers but just don't have any sort of way to monetize it. Course creators whose sales have dried up. People who teach in person. These could be pastors, instructors, even school teachers. Okay. Friends or family members who are skilled but lack systems. They lack how to get online. I bet you if I went to my dad, who's retired, and I told him, hey, Dad, would you like to launch a course together, a mini book? And I pitched him with this offer, he would take me up on it, right? You think really, really close circles, guys, really close circles of people who already trust you and who are probably asking questions like, what are you doing online? Like, what is this world that you like? You have no idea how many people actually know what we do in this space. It is very, very small. It is black magic to 98% of the world. And so just opening up that conversation will lead to opportunities. Anyone that you've hired in the past who has changed your life, even if it was just once, or you've worked with in the past, or who has, has given you any sort of advice, if you are that testimonial, you are the best person to sell that product, period. Okay. To help them create a product and sell it online. These are 11 immediate network leads that you can go reach out to right now. And I'll give you the script that I want you to go use in just a second. But I hope you've been jotting some names down of people in your space that you can just open a conversation with. Okay. So here's the script that turns clarity into cash flow. Okay. This is how you land these leads. And it's dead simple because when you have a model that people actually want, you don't need to be super fancy in your sales skills. So here's the script that I've used in the past. And every time that I'm in conversation, I would say 90% of the time, these conversations turn into deals. The close rate is ridiculous because it's truly a no-brainer offer. Here it is. Hey, name, I've been working on a new model, helping business owners like you launch books and digital products. I'd build the system and run the launch. You'd fund a small ad test, and we split the results 50-50. We can go live in as little as a week. If it works, we scale. If not, we walk. Is this something you'd be open to chatting about and building a new revenue stream on the side? How simple is that? Okay.
That's brilliant.
If you read that and someone presented that to you, how many of you would raise your hand and say, yeah, I'm interested in talking? Be honest. Type me in the chat. If someone presented this script to you and said, hey, have you ever had an idea to launch a digital product? How about we build something in about a week and go live and launch it? And if it works, great, we scale it. If not, no big deal. We chalk it up to a test budget, and you know what? At least we have data, and we walk. Would you be interested in chatting? All you do is fund the ad test. I'll build everything out. You in? Sign me up. My hand is raised as high as it can possibly go. In fact, I've taken some of these deals before. All that effort within launching, gone. All I got to do is teach. Are you kidding me? All I got to do is show up and serve. That's what leaders want. That's what servants want. That's what educators want. They don't want to have to worry about getting new customers. All they want to do is help people. So why not create an offer where that becomes reality? And so typically what I'll do is, if you are maybe lacking confidence right now, you're like, you still want to get your feet wet and you don't have total confidence in your ability. And this is what I help people do as I help them learn this skill set and build these funnels. And we're going to go through that tomorrow. I'm going to give you the snapshot of the exact funnels template that we go through with all my partners. We start low. Maybe start with a $500 test budget or a $1,000 test budget. Figure out whatever's comfortable for you to ask. It doesn't matter because I test these budgets with $100 in ads. And if it doesn't convert, I launch a new ad test, period. I'm doing $100 sprints. So if you get $1,000 from someone and you use that to fund the ads, you basically have 10 cracks at it to see if we can convert. And I promise you, if the offer is good, it will convert. And if it's not, you don't want to be a part of it anyway. And it's okay because your partner will respect all of the effort that you went into building this out. And I'll show you how to leverage that with AI because it doesn't take all that long once you know the system. But once those sales start trickling in, good night. Good night.
Joel,
Everybody.
you know
Yeah.
what's crazy about this? I'm
Yeah.
thinking back and I'm just like, I built three agencies, and the common practice was coming in hot, proving yourself, and typically you're introducing a new offer and hoping that you educate them on marketing, and we're saying, okay, we have this new offer that's working with similar customers. So in that scenario, what you're doing is adding a new ingredient to a pie that's already delicious.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about what
100%.
you're saying is you're saying, Paulson, leave that alone, invite them to bake a whole new pie, and it doesn't affect their current business model. Like, us marketers had to navigate through the impact of what we're doing to the business. Like, we change up an offer, they're losing revenue. We change up an offer, their front desk is dealing with more work. We change up an offer, they're dealing with different types of expenses. We change up an offer, their brand positioning is changing. Like, there's so many logistics there that now that I look back at it, this seems like an add-on opportunity to what they're already doing, and there's less lift.
100%. It is absolutely an add-on opportunity. And the reason why Go High Level is the perfect platform to fulfill on this is because everything can be handled inside of that system, from
Hmm.
customer service to emails to upsells to reporting. It's I mean that's why the opportunity is so big, and that's why it's been a game changer for me and our business. It works incredibly well, incredibly well. All right, we good to continue?
Yes, sir. Let's
All
keep
right,
going. This is exciting. How many of y'all are getting just excited every single slide? Like, I'm like leaning in now at the edge of the chair. I'm like, man, this doesn't get any easier in this digital marketing world to come in and learn a new business model and also have the system. Like, we're going to provide you a snapshot with all these things
mm-hmm.
tomorrow. You just got to, well, make sure you jump into a high level account ASAP with that QR code so you have access to the resources. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going,
Awesome.
Joel.
Cool. So your action item to do right now is what I want you to do is of that list, make a list of 10 potential leads in your network. Whip out your phone, open up your Instagram followers, Facebook friends, or LinkedIn messages, anything. Anyone where you've had conversations or past clients, right? Or followers, doesn't matter. Anyone that we talked about in your social network, in your immediate network, your personal network, and create a list of 10 potential leads in your network. I want you to look for anyone who's talked about launching a course or a program, anyone who's already teaching others, even informally, anyone who's posting content on social media um, in a business perspective, anybody with credibility but no system. Uh, you remember, you're not looking for someone famous. You're not reaching out to someone with tens of thousands or millions of followers. You're looking for somebody who's ready. So then send that message that I gave you. Send the script that I just gave you and tailor it, make it yours, but just send it. Because here's what happens when you do. Just like Pablo, who did this back in May, just got a 50-50 rev share deal on an offer on how to start a private car rental company. Opportunities are endless, guys. Hey, Aretha said I extended the partnership invitation to my client and she accepted. She's ready when I am. Let's go. Higher role, higher floor. We
Wow.
Chris Nunez. I know a bunch of people on Instagram I can reach out to. They this they stuff
They
they,
like stuff like
they like
there.
stuff like therapy and life coaching and spiritual coaching, right? This script will be great with them. I'm not pitching, I'm permitting, says David Chan. I have a current client that I'm going to be messaging today, and she's a physical therapist with 3 locations. Clavette says, I'm going to run this play on LinkedIn and with creators in my TikTok live agency. David, oh, that's backwards. Justin said, I'm not pitching, I'm permitting. I'll reach out to some previous web developer clients who could use a program in place of doing one-on-one services. Are you starting to see what I'm talking about here, guys. The opportunities are endless. Chris Iglesias says, I'm not pitching, I'm permitting. One person I can reach out to today is a chiropractor in my BNI. He wants to launch an online men's group. I feel like this is a good opportunity. As he has mentioned, he doesn't have time for tech, but sees the importance in it and wants to launch this group really bad. Reggie Valente, I'm not pitching, I'm permitting. I love this idea. Thanks for rocking this out, Joel. Sending a message to an existing client and an AI guru who's been wanting to launch a program but just overwhelmed of where to start. How many of you guys have ever felt that way before or know somebody who's felt that way when it comes to launching a program? Lee Nazal says, I'm not pitching, I'm permitting. Messaging a friend of mine who's a men's style guru. Kelly Martin, I'm not pitching, I'm permitting. In the next 15 minutes, I will reach out to Cherie, who works with solopreneurs in need of support to articulate and represent their intellectual property framework and model. Are you getting this, guys? Are you getting this? Jay Sherman says, great stuff, Joel. I have so many entrepreneur coaches in my network that this would be a great fit for. Gonna reach out to them. So, what I need you guys to do, okay? If any of that was inspiring for you, drop in the comment. I am not pitching, I am permitting, because that is the shift that you need to make if you want to make this model work. You are not a service provider anymore. You are not a freelancer. You're not even a founder. You are a force multiplier who is inviting people to have a seat at your table that you create together. That is why you are permitting. You are inviting. You are allowing. You are filtering. You are not begging. You are not pitching. You are permitting people to take part in what you have to offer. And so, what I want you to do is share who is one person from your list that you are going to message today, right here, right now. Drop it in the chat, drop their first name or their initials in the chat, because I want you to leave here with momentum so we can show up tomorrow with execution on what it is you're going to actually be doing. And we can't do that unless we've got momentum. I mean, we can do that, but I want you to have momentum in going into day
Yeah.
two. And so we're in execution mode, not just in more learning mode. So drop the initials of who you are going to reach out to today. Could be one, could be five, could be 10 people,
Yeah.
and commit, because that action creates momentum, and momentum is what creates transformation. And that's what we're here to do for you today. Who is at least one person from your list, your audience, that you are going to message today with that script?
If I was doing this, I'll throw some examples in there that I can think of even for myself. Like I'm gonna reach out to the gentleman that just launched a new car wash around my neighborhood on putting together a course of how to launch a car wash. I would reach out to my basketball coaches that wants to launch a online training program on learning how to dribble the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I would reach out to my fitness advisor that tells me I need to eat better and have him put together a recipe of like what needs to be the latest diet if this is your XYZ goal. I can reach out to my travel agent that I fly around with high level that could teach them how to launch a travel agency business. I mean, it doesn't like you just need to be creative. The opportunity is endless.
Yep. Have you ever thought about teaching other people how to do what you do? That's the script in which you should ask them, right? Have you ever thought about teaching other people how to do what you do, right? We could create a digital product around that. It could be a side income stream. Would you be interested? Boom. Like there are some of the biggest products, most successful products that I've ever helped launch were in that field. We had one person who I'll never forget it. We launched a mini webinar for them. And I was really nervous about it because I wasn't 100% confident that it was going to crush. He was a young kid, probably early 20s, and he paid us $12,500 to launch this program for him, launch the funnel for him. And he had a successful cabinet startup business in Florida, but he was capped. Like he only had so many customers in Florida, and he built these systems and built this, this machine. And he was a very, very intelligent kid, wise well beyond his years. And he said, well, what I can do is I can franchise this and just clone these in many different areas, which he wanted to do down the road. But, or I could teach other people who wanted to launch a who saw the opportunity of cabinet startup and wanted to follow my proven system. And we launched that. I'll never forget it. Within the first dollar that we spent on ads. So this was an appointment system, so it was a technically a different model than what we're doing. But I want you to understand what the message is here. The first dollar drove a couple of leads and appointments, so it was a very, very hot offer, which I didn't know. And he closed a $10,000 sale from $6 in ads. I'll never forget that
Wow.
email that he sent. Right, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And so I share that because that's the opportunity, guys. There are so many local business owners, tradesmen, tradespeople that if they just teach people how to do what they do, that market is enormous. There are so many people who want to learn a new skill outside of just digital marketing. Sometimes we get these
Yeah.
blinders on. It's like, well, you're only successful because you sell people digital marketing training on digital marketing. I'm like, no, trust me, there are way bigger offers out there, way bigger offers. And
Yeah.
that's just like, oh man, the home services niche is just, it's a gold mine. That's an
Yeah.
absolute gold mine.
Yeah, and the cool part about it is sometimes you might assume that they're interested in sharing from what they've already done. Like I've met chiropractors who got into affiliate marketing. I've seen plumbers who became YouTubers. I've seen, med spa owners who get into fashion. Like this whole digital product bridge often is like a industry change for a lot of people. They change into becoming often like an educator of the space.
Yep. Yep. So we got a lot of people who've been commenting, which is great. I'm still learning how to use this Restream platform, but Frankie said, "CH, my sister, who's helped numerous people secure a doctoral degree." Gina says, "LA." Bobby says, "I'm not pitching, I'm permitting." Way to go, Bobby. Joseph, "I don't want to pitch anymore. I'm going to permit." Marcio, I think that's how you pronounce it. My aunt, who's a diversity trainer, physiologist, therapist, and spiritualist. Bright says, "Dr. O." Shanice says LR salon owner wants to publish a 365 manual journal for hair types and self care. Let's go. Jeff says MTW, CH, and KA. That's 3 leads. Let's go, Jeff. Kate says I'm not pitching, I'm permitting. Kirsty. Uh, BK. Kevin says BK. Uh, Lashandra says RF, TPA. My kid's piano teacher. Let's go. Guys, there is no shortage of leads. Way to go. Keep up that momentum because that is what this is all about. So let's go ahead and just we'll finish up here. So we recapped which is why the traditional agency model is really broken. More clients equals more chaos. The digital product partner model, the DPP model, flips the game. You co-create, you own, and you scale, baby. You don't sell services, you build assets. You don't chase clients, you choose partners. You don't pitch to be picked, you posture to invite. And today, all of you took action. You built your dream 10, right? Those 10 leads that you're going to reach out to today, you've sent the message. You've at least created that list and you elevated your standard. That's what multipliers do. They don't wait, they move. And tomorrow, we're going to go even deeper. Okay. I'm going to give you the exact AI prompt I use to create irresistible offers on demand that you can showcase to to your potential partners. We're going to go over the funnel and snapshot that I use to validate partner offers fast. And I'm going to give you my top 10 low ticket ads that you can swipe and model for your own partners. So, guys, there will literally be no excuse why you can't get one of these offers live in less than 7 days. Who is ready? Who is with me? And who's going to be joining us here tomorrow on day 2? Type a me in the chat if you say I'm ready, and I'll be there for day 2. Let's go.
I love it. If you, and by the way, this link that's on the screen right
Oops.
now,
Sorry. There we go.
yeah,
Yep.
the Speak with Data /live walkthrough, it's perfect for someone who is inside of high level, maybe they're brand new and they're trying to figure out how to navigate. And it's a team of house of specialists that are inside of high level, our team, and you can jump on a live Zoom call with them right now, 24/7, any time zone, any day of the week, 24/7. We will have a person that will jump on with you, go click by click, shoulder to shoulder, and helping you set up your high level, helping you navigate through high level. And what that will do for you is tomorrow, when you decide to download the snapshot and all the systems that Joel's providing, you'll be able to navigate through your systems and your whole account a lot easier. So it's a perfect invitation, totally free. Of course, you have to have a high level account to use a snapshot. That's a downloadable systematic distribution system we have that allows you to get a link, you click it, you download someone else's system into your account just by a few clicks. So, Joel, I'm excited for tomorrow. Why don't we stop here for now? We have, unless there's something else you have in mind that we need to do for today before we close up.
Nope. So the no, really, just the only
Okay.
other thing that is just if they've got questions, we can answer questions.
Yeah.
They can also learn more about the digital product partner model at
Yeah.
digitalproductpartner.com. And we'll be going over a lot more stuff tomorrow, but those are
Yeah.
the only main things that I wanted to cover and point people
Yeah,
to.
I love it. Give me a one in the chat if you would like for us to do a quick 10-minute Q&A on just material we've covered so far in day one. Give me a one in the chat if you want us to do a Q&A. If you give me a two in the chat if you're thinking, you know what, I've got enough for me to work through. I'll jump in the Q&A tomorrow. But let's see. I see a few people asking. Let's see here. I'm waiting for ones in the chat. If I see enough ones, we'll do a quick 10-minute Q&A, and I would need you to
Oh,
put
there they come.
put the word. Okay, I'm seeing it. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll do a quick rapid fire Q&A if you don't mind, and make sure we're talking about relevant things to the workshop, right?
Yep.
Um, let's see here. Okay, perfect. So type in the word question. So I know that it's a question versus any comments that are happening across like six different streaming channels right now. So type the word question or Q if that's easier, and spell out your question, and I'll go through it and pick a few out, and we can address that, Joel, if that's okay with you.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll let you take the lead and pop up the
Okay.
questions.
Cool. Perfect. So Deacon's asking, Joel, they create the content, yes, question mark. We package and deliver it. Or are we creating the content as well? Like what is the division of fulfillment, I guess?
Yeah. So the division of fulfillment it's a great question. So how I structure it is I provide the engine for the customers and the sales and the marketing, and they will do customer support and fulfillment. Now there are certain times where they literally have nothing created yet, and I will help co-create the product with them. Usually that would mean that I will interview them and create a little mini ebook with them from that interview using AI. Or actually, that's what I do is I will interview them, and that transcription I'll throw into AI with some prompts and have that get repurposed as an ebook. Um, but any course material, they are responsible for creating. So I'm not creating the course for them. They are the expert, right? They are the person with the knowledge. Now, if we want to just create PDFs, fine. Then I can interview them and help extract that. It will usually go a lot faster versus me just saying, "Hey, you need to go create a book." Like they'll never do that. So if I got on an interview, I can extract all that content, throw that into AI, and let AI take it, repurpose that into a digital product. Some of these people love creating content and they love creating courses. And so then I just tell them, go create this, right? We've got this offer over here that I'll develop from the AI prompt that I will give you tomorrow. I need you to go create this training. And here's what I need you to create. And then they go do that. So
Yeah.
we are the launch partner, and they are customer support and fulfillment.
Yeah. And back in my dental days with my old agency, I used to just hire a local videographer and photographer to go shoot content all the time on a monthly basis. I would send photographers and videographers into all my clients' locations and try to just generate content just in general. They're just working or they'll do testimonials or whatever. So creating content is not rocket science. What you want to do is have blueprint that they can follow if possible. Like, I don't know, Joel, if you're going to maybe talk about it tomorrow of like the structure of content, different formats or courses versus ebooks or whatnot. If we get time, maybe we can add some notes there. Um, But let's go to the next question here. Lashandra is asking question, what's your advice for a Caribbean restaurant client? Please give an example of the type of digital products that they would create for a restaurant owner. I can tell you right out of the gate, a recipe book, a cooking class.
Mhm.
Those are the lanes that I would go into. Joel?
Yep, I would agree with that. You know, and I always start with like how to teach other people how to open up a restaurant. That's one idea. But all
Yeah,
of those other things, Paulson, that you mentioned, those are other great ideas. Like
yeah,
recipe book for Caribbean recipe book, right?
yeah,
Or if we want to target other restaurant business owners, maybe they had a unique marketing campaign that they can sell. I mean,
yeah.
like the ideas are endless. There's value everywhere that business owners have.
Yeah. And what you want to do as you kind of filter through the type of people you want to work with, you want to figure out what level of an operator they are. Like if you talk to a business owner that's been a franchisor for like 15 years and they know that industry really well and they're like, "Hey, I want to launch a course and teaching people how to operate a business like this," versus someone who just started the business 6 months ago, probably don't have a business teaching other operators how to run a show. Like they just literally launch. So you want to be mindful of the type of formats and expertise that you're agreeing to, because like the credibility will, seep through a video when someone brand new is teaching, right? Like that's just things that I've seen firsthand in several industries. Okay. I had a brand new dentist who just graduated that wants to teach a big old surgical procedure. Well, you want to be careful in that sense, right? Marvin's asking, what is a suggested ad budget?
Yeah. So what I like to do is I like to test in $100 sprints. So if I take on a digital product partner, I will require a $10,000 um, ad launch budget. So I want to work with $10,000, particularly because I just want to have the most amount of upside possible. I would, if for the right opportunity, I would go as low as $1,000. So if you're asking what type of ad budget we want to start with there, that's what I do. But everything that I do is I do in $100 sprints. Like if I don't make a sale from $100 in ads, I'm launching a new ad campaign. Like I'm launching a new angle, a new offer. So that that's what I do for ads. So hopefully that's
Cool. Benji's asking, hey, will tomorrow be more tactical, or will that only be in the product that we're talking about? So, and Benji, tomorrow will be even more tactical as we will go through the snapshot system of what's all built out. So today, what we wanted to do was set the stage right, help everybody understand the business model of what we're going to talk about. So tomorrow will be pretty heavy, in my opinion, right, Joel?
yep.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Theory's asking, I want to go after MSP, managed service providers, for those of you that don't know. How can we create a digital product for an MSP founder? Depends on what kind of technology they're working with, but what are your thoughts, Joel? You were in the engineering world.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same question as how do I go after a Caribbean restaurant owner? It's taking a step out and just looking at all of the things that they offer. Like if there's a specific MSP that is very, very popular, maybe create a training around that. Like what I want to look for is I want to look for the largest audience possible, right? When I'm running paid ads, you want, you know, a broader audience. This doesn't mean you have to sell to everybody, but you want to be able to find them with paid advertising. I don't want to run ads to a market of only 100 people. Like that's a recipe for failure. So, how do I teach something to a broad, maybe it's technicians. Like here's a technician certification program, or like um, a book on I'm not familiar with MSPs, but like you get the idea is still the same. Like how can I
Yeah.
extract something from that business that a broader market would be interested in? Like for instance, when my first product was I taught engineers how to pass the fundamentals of engineering licensing program, right? That was not even a large market. Like I didn't run paid advertising to it, but um like that's how I want you to think. So it's like think it in terms of those. If I could write a book on this, what would I teach? Like if I could write a book to a larger audience, what would I teach?
Makes total sense. So for those of you that are, I see more questions that are coming in. We'll take some time today afternoon going through and answering as much as we possibly can. Um, Joel, tomorrow, just to review one more time, what can we expect tomorrow? Why should people show up for day two, as it's our last day?
Yep. So tomorrow we are going to work on. So we're going to go through the high level snapshots. So I'm going to show you guys every funnel, every digital product partner funnel that I launch uses this template. So we'll walk you through that template and the automations and the whole, you know, all the nuances behind what that, what all that stuff looks like. I'm just going to look at the, I'm going to give you the AI prompt, right? So I use this one AI prompt to map out offers for potential digital product partners. So you know exactly um, what it is that you can pitch. So you'll take you can, so for people who are asking, like, hey, Caribbean restaurant owners, MSPs, like, what can I offer them? You're going to put it through this prompt. It will tell you 5 ideas
Mm,
that you can use. So that's
I
what we're going to be
love
using
that.
tomorrow.
That's cool.
And then I'm going to go through my top 10 low ticket ads. It's a swipe file that you can go and model for your own partners. And I use this to launch all my partners. Like these are winning frameworks that you can model at the push of a button, um, and build your own swipe file and start to just, you know, collect your own proven winning ads. Because
Yeah,
quite honestly, guys, AI will do 80 to 90% of all the heavy lifting for you as long as you just give it a little nudge.
yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be super tactical.
Awesome. And our goal is not to just hand over fish to all of you. We want you to learn how to fish, right?
Mhm.
Like it's not about us giving you what we think of Caribbean restaurants or MSP or whatever. It doesn't matter what we think. The market's going to speak to you, right? Like what we want to show you is how to come up with the right ideas and test out different things. But anyways, Joel, thanks for saying yes again. I'm excited for day two. Same time tomorrow. That is 12 o'clock Eastern New York Standard Time or Eastern Standard Time. That's 11 a.m. for all of us here in Texas. That's 9 a.m. for the West Coasters. And, replays are available on all channels. Again, jump into this QR code that's showing if you don't have a high level account yet. For you to access all the resources Joel's providing, you have to have a high level account from this event. So jump in, you'll get, all the resources that are part of it. Again, if you need help to speak with somebody in live on a Zoom, we have that available to you as well. But bye for now. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.